Hi. Share my life. This is a toxic topic. This red light fire. This red light. Hi, share my life. Please and thank you, whoever you may be. Share my life. I'm trying to get this music together. It's acting crazy. Did I do it or it was probably me? Hi guys, share my life. Say hi to me. I had to do this red light because it's a toxic conversation tonight. I feel like the red light was appropriate. Hey April, share my life. I feel like the red light is appropriate for the conversation. Hey Victoria, share my life, girl. And let's talk. Hey y'all. Share my life so we can have a conversation, please. I'm trying to get this music together, so I think my speaker just died right now, and I had it on the charger, so I don't even know how, but whatever. Share my life, though, so we can have a conversation. Please and thank you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I feel like it's hella low. Hi, share my life. The red light is for the conversation and the topic at hand. Slightly toxic, but that's fine. Share my life so we could talk about it. Red, my favorite color anyway. Hi, y'all. Share my life. It's Kiki D with Hickeys and Hennessy, the live podcast I try to do every Wednesday just to talk to the people and see what y'all doing. So share my life so we can have a conversation. Please and thank you. I just turned the AC on. It's taking a second to kick in. I'm hot. This red light is I really like it. I should have never been playing with it. Hey girl, you know I'm here for the people. Victoria, you didn't need this tonight. You get this every night and you know it. But share my life so we can talk. I got a couple questions, maybe a few answers. I don't know, but share my life and we shall see. It's your girl Kiki D with Hickeys and Hennessy, the podcast. Hello people. Share my life. I try to come on every Wednesday and talk to y'all. I usually have a topic. This week's topic is toxic relationships, whether they're friendships or, hey Pernell, share my life, however you want to call it. It's about toxicity in said relationships, whether they're romantic or platonic, whatever, and how we supposed to identify if it's toxic or not. Like, how do you know? And when do you leave? Like, when does it be like, you know what, this is really too much, I'm gonna go. So share my life so we can talk. That's the conversation for tonight. That's the purpose of this red light, because it's a hot conversation. It's a toxic conversation. I feel like red might be appropriate. I don't know. I could be overstepping. I don't know, but I like the way it look. It look fire. But share my life, people, so we can talk. I really want to know how y'all know when y'all in a toxic situation. Like relationship. Hey, relationship wise, as far as platonic or romantic, how do y'all know when it's just like, you know what, this is enough, I'm getting out of here? Like, when do you finally see what it's all adding up to be? So share my life or tune in and let me know what y'all feel like. What's the first sign of a toxic relationship? The very first inkling, like, oh, this might be bad. You know? And do you stick around and see if it's bad, or do you... I'm trying to get the music together. Do you stick around and see if it's bad, or do you just leave before it even get bad? Like, what do you know? Like, when do you know? You know what I'm saying? How do you know when it's toxic? What's the first sign of, like, a toxic situation? And do you stay or do you leave when you finally realize this might be toxic? That's what I want to know tonight. What's y'all first sign for, like, toxicity? Good coochie, good dick. Those are usually the number one. With friends and family too. Yeah, all of it, babe. But I was talking about toxicity in general, but I know these conversations always lead to something kinky. So I don't know. I'm kind of toxic, so I stay. So that's what I'm saying. When do you know it's toxic though? Like, when do you decide, like, yo, this might be a little shaky, I probably should leave. Because although you can feel your energies and although they tell you stuff, do you listen to them? Or do you just stick it out and try to see if maybe it's just you overthinking something, or this person just really like out of hand? You know what I'm saying? Mike said when all she ever day is, can I have some money? Oh yeah, that's definitely toxic. But hey, people love money. What could you do? Just give it to them. That's what I would assume. Arguing, lack of communication, facts, all of those. That's really true. But is it worth staying in there? Like, okay, although all she want to do is argue, she could clean the house good or she could cook good, I'm just going to stick around. Or do you just bite the bullet and just leave? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Or if you try to communicate with the individual and they just refuse to try to figure out what you're talking about or try to get an understanding of it, do you leave or do you still keep fighting? Do you still, you know what I'm saying? Do you stick it out or do you back up and be like, you know what? Victoria said when she got her windows busted. Did you leave after he busted your windows? That's my question. When do you leave from the toxic relationship? When is it like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm out of here. Like when? Hi, Lakeisha. Share my life. Honestly. When is it like, just probably not it. I'm just saying. Some people don't leave. Some people stick it out and try to see if it'll change or if they can fix it or whatever. And sometimes it's like, well, why am I still here? What's so good about this relationship? Oh, good cutty. Oh, personal sanity. Okay, yeah. That's how you know. But what do you mean they drive you to the point where you're just crazy as far as personal sanity? Like, you know what I'm saying? How do you really know? And when is it enough? Victoria said she had to get her windows bust to leave, but I'm sure it was toxic signs before the windows had to be bust. You know what I'm saying? So when you first see the initial toxicity is what I'm asking. Do you stick it out and try to change them and try to fix it, or do you just go because the first sign of crazy is like, you know what? I don't even want to do this. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wonder, because a lot of people stick in toxic relationships because that's all they ever knew. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. So I wonder, when you see your first sign of toxicity, do you stay or do you go? And what makes you decide which move to make? Like, how do you decide which move? Oh, y'all talking. Wait, this always happened. I should have left years ago. It took me 15 years. See, it took you 15 years. That's what I'm saying. But you saw a sign 15 years prior. You know what I'm saying? And what the reason why you decided to stay is probably something that you don't even, you're not even thinking about, or you don't even know why you staying, but it's the whole something you learned unknowingly, probably through your life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know your upbringing, but honestly, it took me learning, growing, and being more self-aware. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how to be consistent with boundaries. It took a bunch of red flags. That's the thing. It take a bunch of red flags. But why do it take us so many red flags? Why are we like that? Why won't we just go? Some people will leave on the first sign of toxicity. Like, it's usually guys, though. You know what I'm saying? Dudes don't stay sometimes. Most times they stay, but majority guys don't stay. Women stay more than guys do. And why is that? That's because we watched women stick around for bullshit growing up, or is that our nature to stick around and try to fix? Are we naturally fixers? You know what I'm saying? Like, when it's the first sign, why don't you exit? Why do you try to stick around and figure it out? What's that about? That's what Oh, Reggie said he stayed. In a toxic relationship, you stayed? Probably because I learned I had toxic. Oh, just so y'all could fix each other. You said you stayed because you learned that you have toxic ways as well. And y'all just decided to just be toxic together as a unit. Do you work on your toxic ways once you realize that you have them, or do you just be like, oh, love me or leave me alone? You know what I'm saying? Because you see red flags at the beginning, especially if you up in age. You don't even want to deal with a lot of stuff after a while. So I feel like y'all are old enough to be like, you know what? This ain't it. I'm going to go. But why do we stay even though we know it's like, this really ain't it? I'm going to go. Lakeisha said she stuck it out because she didn't think it was extreme. Oh, okay. But it was toxic, but just not that toxic, is what you're saying? When I knew it was too much, I said, I tell you what, bro, what's going on? Yeah. I mean, but what do you mean extreme? If it's toxic, it's toxic. You gotta go when it's time to go. The red flag's gonna let you know. But what you mean by extreme though? But it was toxic, but not like police calling level, but it was still shaky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? My question is, why do y'all think that we stick around? Reggie said because he feel like he got his own toxic ways, but wouldn't you want to separate from the relationship, work on yourself, get your toxicity together, and then unite with the individual and join and make something great? Or you just gonna both y'all just be toxic and just, you know what I'm saying? I wonder that. Why don't people leave and go fix their stuff and then try to double back and see what's up with it? Or you know what I'm saying? Those are real things people don't think. I don't know why people don't think to do it, or why people feel like, no, they just gonna stick it out with the person. But you could leave a situation, get your life together, and come back to a situation if it's really meant for you to be. You don't have to stick around and be toxic and fuss and fight and try to figure it out as y'all go. Like, that's a thing. I don't know. But April said she stayed because she grew up in a toxic environment. Exactly. That's what you knew. That's generational. That's another thing I'm talking about. People don't realize that that's embedded in them. They don't even think it's a big deal because that's all they ever saw growing up. Like toxicity or domestic violence and stuff like that. But as you grow, you try to get to know better, and you like, damn, I know something wrong, but it's something about it I just can't leave. Is your comfort. That's because that's all you ever known. So now you comfortable there. And now you just sitting in a mess and not even realizing that it's driving you insane. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool. It took me throwing and building myself up to notice that it was even toxic. That's what I'm saying, April. You just thought it was normal because that's all you ever knew growing up. You try, but anyone that's in a toxic situation, it never works. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why it's important. If you know you toxic and the individual know that, I mean, don't even realize they toxic, but you know they toxic and you know you toxic, why not lead a situation, get yourself together to where when you get back in a situation with that individual, you could possibly help them or talk them into getting themselves together. I don't think people should stick in toxicity and don't be in toxic relationship because that shit sucks your soul. Like, it's draining to have to deal with, especially two toxic people. When y'all both toxic in its levels, the only good thing about toxic relationships is usually the sex. Honestly, that's literally the best part about like being in a toxic relationship. Kiki B, we ain't here. I don't even know who that is. Hey, Give to Black Man. I can't even see y'all pictures, but hey, share my life. What's up though? But what was I saying? Yeah, when you in a toxic relationship and y'all both know y'all toxic, y'all might as well just leave. Only good thing about toxic relationships literally is the sex. That's how I feel, because it's like, oh, we fighting today, but we gonna make up later, and it's gonna be intense because we were so mad at each other earlier. That's literally why I think people stay, but I could be wrong because I'm toxic, so I don't really, I feel like people stay in toxic relationships because the sex be so toxic, like it be so good, but it's toxic as hell. You know you shouldn't be there, but you still there anyway. Oh, Lakeisha, what I mean by extreme is outside jealousy in our relationship, small disagreements that. Oh, I thought you were talking about something different. But extreme is extreme, and even like I said, a little bit of toxicity, that shit grows. Because people hold on to stuff and you don't even know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden it's just blown out of proportion for something where, like y'all said earlier, communication could have fixed all of it, but people don't know how to communicate because they wasn't raised in a situation where communicating was a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? People just like let that stuff build up, and then all hell breaking loose. The only good thing about a toxic relationship is sex. That's it. Because like I said, you fight with the individual. Y'all get into it. It's rough. Y'all not talking all day. Then y'all cuddle up in the bed. That's why people stay. They get that makeup sex and forget how mad they was until the next morning at breakfast time. And it was like, oh yeah, I don't like this little nappy head heifer. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't like this raggedy dude. I forgot about that. But he bit my back out. So now y'all still have undercoat animosity, but y'all can't talk about it because y'all done already made up, but it never got fixed, so it's gonna come back around again. So that's why I think it's very important to fix your situation before you get into a relationship. And if you realize you're a toxic individual, or the person you with is toxic, and you bring it to their attention and you tell them that they toxic without making it too bad, and they can't figure it out, then you really need to go, because that means they don't care enough about the relationship to fix their issue, to make the relationship work. Only good thing about a toxic relationship is the sex. Honestly, I know. I was once toxic. I feel like I'm reformed. I don't really know. I could still be toxic. I'm not really sure. It depends on who you ask. But I think I do pretty well. And I know in my toxic relationships, the only thing that I was sticking around for was the sex. That's what I know. So I'm just trying to help. If that's the only reason why y'all sticking around, don't. Because you would get good sex from a healthy relationship with a non-toxic individual. You can get good sex from them people too. You don't have to stick it out with this person because you're comfortable with them, or because you don't realize that it's toxic, or because you don't, like, at this point, you just, it is what it is type of vibe. No one should be living like that. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot of energy getting put. That's all I'm saying. It's not worth it. Walk away. And you got to know your worth. Like I say all the time, energy is a real thing. You can feel that stuff. When you're around certain people, certain things happen, certain feelings, like your stomach make you feel away. I'm telling y'all. That's why toxicity might be cute when you young, but when you grown, that shit ain't, like, you don't want to deal with that. Like, no. There's nothing good about, there is something good about a toxic relationship, Pernell. Sex. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know from experience. I've been in toxic relationships, and the only thing that were ever good about them was sex. I'm telling you. Makeup sex at that. Not even like regular sex, just because it was only like, oh, we've been fighting all day, so let's make up all night. That's literally the only good thing about a toxic relationship. So, trying to tell y'all, it ain't worth it. You can get good sex from a non-toxic individual. In your family relationships or in your platonic relationships, if you feel like if it's not going how it's supposed to go, get up out of there too. You can find better friends. Honestly, my ex used to tell me she would chop me up in a million pieces. Not cool. That's definitely toxic. That's toxic. Being threatened or being that's not cute. We think it's cute when we young. Oh, he said he'll jump out the bushes, and like, nah, bruh. Or you grow up and sit back and think about all the crazy stuff somebody said to you while you was in toxic. It's like, yo, none of that was cool. Why was I okay with this fool telling me he was going to jump out of some bushes and throw me in the back of a trunk if I do whatever? Even if I'm not, like, that's what I'm saying. You don't know that it's not okay because you've been dealing with it, or you think it's cute, or social media, or your friends, whatever. No, bro. It's crazy. She said, I thought it was her way of telling me that she really cared about you. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Or she could have just said, I really care about you. She didn't have to say, oh, I'm going to chop you up into a million little pieces. That's crazy. Trust issues. Exactly. That's something that she probably don't have a choice but to have, because she probably had generational issues with trust. All of this stuff all linger back to how you was brought up, unfortunately. People don't want to talk about that, but it's really a fact. It really has a lot to do with your upbringing, being toxic or non-toxic, however you want to call it. It really do. Because if you watch toxicity growing up in your life, in all your relationships, then that's all you'll ever know. So you're not gonna know that it's not toxic. You'll be used to it. I've had good sex in a toxic relationship, but peace of mind is much better. That's a fact. That's what I just said for now. Peace of mind is so much better than sex. It is. And you can also get good sex from a non-toxic individual who got their mind right. So that's all I'm trying to say. It's not necessary. You have to learn the signs from a toxic individual, and you can't ignore them. Once you see them, you can't think it's not extreme, or you can't think it's not a big deal. You have to at least try to communicate with your partner that you feel like it's toxic, like, oh, that's not cool or whatever, and hope that they attempt to try to change how they feel about it, or try to change how they moving or talking or whatever. You can't just let them be however they, you know what I'm saying, however they are, because that's not it. And y'all be fighting all day just to have sex when you could just avoid that and be at one with each other and communicate with each other and have great sex just from that. And not having to be toxic at all. So why not get to the good stuff? Take away all the bad shit and just stick with the good shit. Honestly, that's all I'm saying. There's no point of being in toxic relationships when you could just talk to your individual and you don't have to fight and carry on. You could just have good sex because y'all on one accord, y'all communicate and y'all understanding each other. We too grown to still be dealing with toxic people. You have to love yourself before you want someone else to love you, and they have to love themselves. I said that. Get your stuff together before you get into a relationship, because all you're doing is bringing your baggage into another situation with another person, and they baggage, and it's a whole fucking no. No one wants to deal with that. That's crazy. Not when you don't have to. Not when you can communicate what your baggage is and what your issues are with the individual that you're dealing with. And like I said, y'all could be on one accord and y'all could have great sex without having to be toxic prior to having sex with them, without having to fight them to have sex with them. You can just have a general conversation and get on one accord and have great sex just because y'all got on one accord and y'all communicated. People don't want to talk about that though. They think toxic is cute, and I'm just here to say being toxic is not cute. The only cute thing about toxicity is great makeup sex. That's it. I guess you could be toxic in the bedroom, I guess, but honestly, that's when the death threats come. It won't change if no one sees it as a problem. I don't even know. I don't even want toxic sex. Kinky, not toxic. No, I like a little toxic sex, but that's only because we both know what we doing. We not just out here doing whatever. But she said kinky, not toxic. It depends. And heal. Yeah, definitely heal. We said that last time. Heal. But before you get into a relationship with somebody else, it's better that you get your own self together before you engage with another person, like I said, because then you're bringing your baggage on whatever they baggage is, and it's dumb. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you already got yourself together and you dealing with a person or an individual that you feel like might be toxic or got some type of toxic energy, and you try to tell them like, oh, well, this, that, and the third is the issue, or this, that, and the third is the reason why we having a problem, and they refuse to try to change it or refuse to try to fix it, then is it really worth it? Is it worth trying to still be in a relationship with the person, or is it better to just leave and cut your losses and try to figure it out with somebody who might be willing to listen and might be willing to change? Toxicity is not cute. As adults, toxicity is not cute. Use your words, people. Communicate, people. Not YOLO, bruh. Yo. Nah, you're not going to tell me you chopping me up and I'm going to scream YOLO. Nah, that sounds like one of my cousins. That's some crap they'd say. But honestly, leave if it's not. Honestly, like I said, you can have great sex in a normal relationship without y'all fighting and carrying on prior to. You definitely can. It's really a thing. People do that all the time. That's basically from them communicating with each other and telling each other what they like and what they don't like, and letting it be that, without having to fight or keep secrets or hold animosity or hold grudges just because. You don't have to do that. These people don't wait. The next day they're in different relationships. What people? Toxic people? Yeah, because they're not healed. That's what I'm saying. Is that what you're talking about? Fighting at a bar every weekend? What? A toxic relationship? That's not it. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's not cute. People should not be still carrying on as adults. That's all I'm saying. We should be able to talk to each other, figure out what our grievances is, settle them, and be happy and healthy and loving. That's what we should be able to do as adults. We shouldn't think it's cute to be toxic and to carry on and to cut the fuck up. It's not. We shouldn't think it's cute because so-and-so threatened to, I'm all in this thing, threatened to chop me up in little pieces. That ain't cute. Or carrying on at the club, like you said. None of that stuff is cute. Like, adults don't carry on like that. The only thing that's good about toxic relationships is making up. That's the sex. That's it. And you can have just as a lit time in a normal, non-toxic situation where everybody understand each other, everybody communicate with each other, everybody love each other, and everybody get along. You don't have to cut up every single time. You really don't. You can keep it cute and still have good sex. People really have be in toxic relationships and stick it out because they're comfortable there, because the sex is so good, or because they just so used to the toxicity they don't think nothing of it, like it's not a big deal. It's not it. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do, but that's all I'm trying to say. You don't have to go through all of that. to be happy and to be in a healthy relationship and to have a great sex life. Because like I said, a lot of people stay in toxic relationships because the sex is good. And it's like, bro or ma'am, it's regular people out here giving away good sex that know how to use their words, that know how to communicate and know how to tell, you know what I'm saying, that are very upfront. You just gotta do a little work, but the stuff that's worth it is worth working towards and worth working for. So don't just go for anybody and deal with anything. You don't have to. You gotta know your words. Like, you don't have to stick around. Like I said, and if you know somebody that's toxic and you telling them that they toxic and you trying to get them some help and they still refusing and they still acting crazy, you gotta let them be where they at. Like, you can't stick around them people because that's draining your energy. It's draining life out of you. Like, that's just unnecessary. I never put my hands on a female. I can speak for myself. You said you never put your hands on, but females put their hands on guys all the time. So that's not even relevant. That's another form of toxicity. Girls hit guys too. I already told y'all I'm domestic. I know I got toxic traits. I'm comfortable with myself. I speak my truth, but at least I know how to communicate and I know how to tell people yes, no, maybe. So you know what I'm saying? I don't play around, and at least I always warn motherfuckers, listen, don't play with me. I'm toxic. I got a toxic trait. I'm domestic. I'm working on it. That's the goal. The goal is to work on it, not to try to be stuck in that situation where you just acting crazy all the time. Nobody want to deal with that forever. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, domestic violence. I've dealt with that in my life. I'm very hands-on when I feel like I gotta be hands-on. It's not cute, but I'm shaky. But what I'm saying is I'm working on it. That's all I'm saying, because being toxic is not it. It's not cute. We're adults. We should be able to use our words and communicate with one another without having to go through hell and high waters and carrying on. It's unnecessary. Honestly, you said why hit? Why hit? Because I used to stutter and I don't like to argue. And when I feel like I gotta argue, I start to stuttering, and then I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm working on it. I got a therapist. You don't worry about me. I'll be all right. I'm talking to people. So I'm fixing my stuff. What I'm saying is, fix your stuff. Fix your stuff, because you don't want to be out here looking crazy and carrying on. That's what I'm saying. It's not cute. I knew it wasn't cute. I got help. All I'm trying to say is, if you know it ain't cute, get help. I'm trying to tell you it ain't cute. So it ain't if you know it or not. I'm literally saying it's not cute. So get help. And know your worth. If you know you're dealing with a toxic person, exit. You know what I'm saying? Don't stick around that, because it's unnecessary. We're adults. We should be able to use our words, and we should be able to communicate with each other without it going left or whatever, going overboard or whatever. Honestly, it's ridiculous if you feel like you have to. And like I said, a lot of people pick fights just for sex, like great makeup sex. I was one of them people at one point. That's why I know I can speak on it, because I was that kind of toxic. It was ridiculous. But like I said, I'm working on myself and I'm healing. But people do that. Don't be those people. Don't be the person that picks a fight just to have great makeup sex. Be the person that uses their words and communicate with the partner what the issue is, to where y'all can both be on one accord and y'all can have great makeup sex just because y'all talked about it and y'all both made each other feel better, and it's lit now, so we here now, and what's up now. Be that person. Don't be like I was. It's not cool. That's all I'm saying. Toxic is not cute. Social media got y'all thinking it's cute, thinking it's okay to be adults, not knowing how to use y'all words, still cutting up, carrying on, being domestic, and whatever, putting on the scene, putting on the show. I'm here to say it's not cute, people, okay? We're adults. We have to use our words now. We can't be out here acting crazy or carrying on and letting somebody say, oh, well, I love you, so this is why I'm doing this. Like, no. If you love me, talk to me. Converse with me. Help me get an understanding of what the issue is. Don't be outside in front of my job blowing your horn crazy. Or don't be out in front of my house in the bushes. If you love me, just talk to me. You don't have to be crazy about it. That's the type of toxic that I'm speaking on. Don't be that way. Use your words. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't be out here cutting up with these people. It's really uncalled for. We're adults. This is usually a sex podcast, I guess. We usually talk about sex and stuff, but lately I've been trying to just get the, like, before we get into the good sex part, we have to get to why it's so good. It's good because we fixed ourselves. It's good because we understand mental health is important. It's good because we communicate with one another. It's good because we understand that communication is key when you having sex with an individual and you want it to be bomb sex. That's why my last couple episodes have been not focused solely on sex, because I need to get y'all to understand why sex is so good. It's because it's levels to it. It's not just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Or wham, bam, thank you, officer. It's not just that. It's levels to it. It's literally communicating with your partner. It's literally getting an understanding with your partner. Because once y'all communicate with each other, y'all body's going to align. Like I always say, everything will align right once your mental health is together. Once your toxic traits is fixed. Once all of that is together, your sex will be orgasmic. It will be otherworldly. But you have to fix the core issues first before you get an understanding, or before you can understand what I'm talking about when I say, oh, when you busting up or when I orgasm, it feel like this, that, and the third. In order for you to understand what I'm saying, you have to get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? You have to already be together. I don't want to have to explain every little bit and piece because you thinking about something totally different, or you know what I'm saying? That's really a thing. That's why my last couple of episodes have not been solely based on sex alone. They have been based more so on mental health and like your core issues, your toxic traits, your communication skills, this, that, and the third, because you have to know that stuff. To have bomb ass sex, you have to know all of these things. So we get that stuff out the way. So when it's time for the fun stuff, I could just bust out and say something and y'all gonna already be like, yo, yeah, I felt that before. I remember that. That's really a vibe. That's really a feeling. Or me and my joint really just talking about that. Or me and my shorty was just talking about that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why my last couple episodes have been more focused on your body and your mind and your spirit, because the kind of sex that I want y'all to experience is the kind where your body and your mind and your spirit has to be aligned. Honestly, that's why we trying to have these conversations and lighten this load up so y'all can make sure y'all minds are straight. Once your mind's straight, I say it all the time, everything else gonna fall into place. You just gotta get it together first. So just a real clear reasoning why my last couple episodes have been a little bit more focused on your mental health and like your spiritual health and all of that, because like I said, sex is a sacred art form. It's not just people do it for like recreation or whatever, but even when you recreationally having sex, it's still supposed to feel like something. It's still supposed to mean something. It's not supposed to just be, you know what I'm saying? It's really not. But people do it, and it's not cool. And I'm trying to tell y'all, if y'all want to feel a different level of sex and a different orgasmic experience, you need to have your shit together. I'm just saying. Because you don't want to bust a nut. You want to have an orgasm. It's not about the nut. It's going to always be about the orgasm. The orgasm is otherworldly. That's why you want to have that. That's the thing that make you go to sleep right after. An orgasm is the thing that make you roll over and put your thumb in your mouth. Busting nuts is the kind that you get up and be like, okay, well, you don't want to do that. You want to feel like, oh my Lord, what just happened? So that's why I'm trying to get y'all to understand and realize it's your mind first, then your spirit, then everything else will fall into place. But once you get your mind right, that's why my last couple episodes have been less focused on sex and more focused on, adult things, I guess. More just so you can align it. Like I said, so when I say something, y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, I know what she's talking about. Because y'all already got y'all shit together. Like my boy said, he got toxic traits. And he's sticking around because Shorty got toxic traits too. But like I asked him, are y'all trying to fix y'all shit or y'all just thugging it out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out how it's going to be and what y'all going to do. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think you're supposed to fix your situation. And then if it's meant to be, double back to Shorty. I don't think you're supposed to thug it out and see what's going to happen. I honestly don't. So that's why I'm saying get your mind right. Once you get your mind right, everything else will follow. That's why my last couple episodes have not been solely based on sex, because it's deeper than that. Sex is just not just a thing to do. You wanna feel it, but you wanna really feel it. You don't wanna just be out here having sex and just collecting bodies with no meaning behind them. That's not it. That's not it at all. So honestly, Damn it, I missed the topic. Oh, hey, Chloe. We was talking about toxic relationships and the signs of toxicity and when to leave and when to stay or when to try to fix it or whatever. That was the topic. It's not sex. These last, like I keep having to say, my last couple episodes have not been solely based on sex because sex is more than just a physical thing to me. It's a spiritual thing. It's an emotion. It's like I said, to have good sex, you want to have it all together. So my last couple episodes has been based on like mental health, like I said, toxic traits, just so we can clear the field for when we do have our conversations about sex. It could be a more lit conversation where we understand what I'm talking about, when we understand, because me and my partner have communicated with each other and we have an understanding of what's going on. That's why my last couple episodes have not been solely based on sex. They have been based on other parts of sex, but not just solely based on sex. Because like I said, if your mind is not right and your spirit ain't together, your sex is not going to be that good. You might think you doing it, and you might think you really lit, and you might think you really, but you really not. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you probably just busting nuts. You're not having orgasms. In order to have an orgasm, your mind got to be clear. Your soul got to be free. You got to be, I swear, it's a vibe. I'm telling you. That's why I know that speaking about mental health and toxic traits is important, because y'all have to clear that in order for it to really feel like something. When to leave is when you start to question. When to leave or when you start to question, I feel no connection. Communication. Toxic trait. If I'm telling you that I have an issue with you and I want to talk about it, and you're refusing to communicate with me or refusing to figure out what the issue is, then why am I still sticking around here? And how is our sex supposed to be so bomb if we can't even talk to each other about an issue we having? How are we really supposed to connect and communicate spiritually if we can't communicate physically? That's why it's important to have your shit together, to leave or to fix it before it get just, I'm so used to this person being toxic, so I'm not even gonna leave. Or I don't know, I'm here because the sex is bomb. But like I said, the sex could be greater if y'all got y'all shit together. That's why I think it's important to talk about mental health before sex, communication skills before sex, my toxic traits before sex. That's why I'm not always going to solely focus on the sexual aspect of human sexuality, because it's levels to this shit. That's all I'm trying to say. And if you want to bust a good nut, you have to have your mind right. You have to have clarity. You have to be able to be one with your partner and one with your surroundings, the smell, the taste, you know what I'm saying, the vibe of the wherever y'all having sex at. If you want to have an orgasm, you got to be able to be at one with that. And if your mind is cluttered, like I said before, it is never gonna shut down. It'll never shut off. It's going a million miles an hour. You can't even focus to even bust the best nut or have the best orgasm. So that's why I keep saying mental health is important, spiritual health is important. Pray to who you got to pray to. You just got to get it together. Focus on what you need to focus on and be able to clear your plate so you can eat. If that makes sense. I don't even know if it makes sense to y'all, but it makes sense to me. Clear your plate so you can eat. That's all I'm trying to say. It makes perfect sense. That's why I didn't want to just solely talk about sex or positions or whatever, because it's levels to sex. If you know, if you really know, then you know. So I'm just here to educate the people who don't know, or engage with the people who do know. You know what I'm saying? So this is your girl Kiki D with Hickeys and Hennessy, the podcast. I come here every Wednesday and I try to talk to y'all every Wednesday. I try to do a different topic every week. I have a podcast. You can download it wherever you get your podcast from. It's called Hickeys and Hennessy. It is this. If you can see the shirt, look for the lips. That's what I tell the people. You can follow me on all platforms, Hickeys_Hennessy on all the platforms. Just look for the lips and you'll see me. But I try to come here every Wednesday, like I said, and talk to y'all, just to have a conversation, like I say, an adult conversation about sex and stuff like that. And see what's up with y'all. I used this red light this week because I was talking about toxicity, and I feel like it go, I don't know, plus I like the way it make my hair look. But yeah, it's your girl Kiki D with Hickeys and Hennessy. that is my topic for this week, I guess. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, I'm trying to get out of here early. Listen to me. But what else was I talking about? That's what I was talking about. Toxic traits, and when is the signs, and when do you know when you should leave, or when do you feel like you should leave, or when you should stay and try to work it out with the person, or you just used to it and just like, you know what, it's some good sex here, he helped me with the laundry, whatever, it's cool. Like, when is it enough? Or why don't we leave at the first sign of toxicity? Like, why, when we first see something that's a toxic situation or something that is just not looking good, why don't we leave immediately? Why we stick around and see if it's going to get worse or better? Why we don't just leave before we even get anywhere? I feel like that's generational, honestly. I feel like people who stick around toxic relationships or be in toxic situations, they stay there because that's all they ever knew. They don't think it's toxic. They think it's normal. They think it's okay because that's what they saw growing up or in a neighborhood or even in a household. You don't know. Or even on TV. You don't know. But I'm telling y'all, it's not normal. And it's not okay. And it's not regular. And I'm telling y'all to leave and get help. And if it's meant to be, and if it's meant to be for you, just double back. You and your joint. Maybe y'all go get help separately, or y'all can go get help together. And just double back and see if it's worth it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you see what you see in that person. Because you see what you see in that person, that's why you stay around. I'm saying, but is that the answer, though? Why not leave at the first toxic trait? Could you see past the toxic traits? That's what you're trying to say. But that would be your toxic trait, though. Seeing past other people's toxicity would be one of your issues that you would have to work out and figure out with, like, I don't know, some type of counselor or something, some type of psychiatrist or something. I'm not really sure. But that would be one of your toxic traits, not to leave, to stick it out and try to work it out. You probably saw that growing up in your community or in your household, and you don't even know that that's a toxic trait. You think you being a good person. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. Love is in the eye of the beholder. So yes, to answer that question. Yeah, that's what I figured that was what you were trying to get at. But like I said, that would be your toxic trait. To know that someone is toxic and to not leave and to try to stick it out. That's something that you probably saw in your neighborhood or growing up or something. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The thing about it is, though, like, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Just like, what is that, poker or whatever? You have to. Otherwise, you would be in a situation where it's just constant. We love each other. We hate each other. We alright. We cool. We love each other. We like, no one wants to live like that on a forever kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? So either fix your situation with your situation, or fix it separately and come back together, or fix it separately and just go. But don't stay there, because toxic relationships will hinder your life and it will hinder your lifestyle, and no one wants to do that. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you your partner, if you tell your partner they are toxic, that is the first step. Yeah, and then the second step is them trying to fix the situation, or if not, like, if they refuse to fix whatever the issue are, what do? You leave, right? You don't stick around. But like Shorty said earlier, she's stuck in a relationship for 15 years and she had been knew it was toxic. Why did she stay around? Probably because that's what she saw growing up. I don't know her. I don't know her life. Or probably because her friends or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in her community, she probably didn't think it was a big deal. It took 15 years to go. You don't want to deal with that. But that's real life. You're not always going to see eye to eye. I mean, yeah, but if, like I said, if it's more bad than good, you don't want to stick around. That's honestly a real fact. You don't want to engage with that type of situation on a forever kind of thing. Because like I said before, we do it as women. We stick around more because I feel like women are natural fixers. We don't even mean to be. I feel like that's just something that we have. But it's not okay. But you don't know that, because if you grew up in an environment or in a situation where it was toxic all the time and foolish all the time, you don't know that that's not normal. You don't know that you don't have to deal with that kind of stuff, because that's all you've ever seen is the women or the men in your family dealing with bullshit. So it's like, well, I guess it's my turn to deal with bullshit too. But that should not be the case. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool. Hey, Sherry Lot, it's really not a thing. It's really not something that you should be comfortable with or used to doing. That's why I wanted to speak about mental health. I wanted to speak about spiritual health, because you can't have good sex unless that stuff is together. You won't have the best orgasm that you have ever felt in your whole entire life if your mental ain't together, or if your spiritual is not together. You will not be able to reach the peak or of orgasmic bliss that you so deserve. Okay, people deserve this feeling. Okay, I've had it. People deserve this feeling. You will not be able to reach that peak unless your stuff is together. You know what I'm saying? So, in order for you to get yourself together, you have to find out what your toxic traits is and figure out how you're supposed to fix them. So your mind can be free. So you can be at one and then have the best sex ever. And then you and your partner communicating so easily because you understand that communication is important. And if you love your partner and you want to be with that person, you're going to make sure that y'all engaging in conversations, whatever, a couple times a week, just to make sure your relationship is together and to make sure everything is straight. And once you know for a fact that your relationship is together and everything is straight, once y'all do engage in sex and have sex, orgasmic. That's all I'm trying to say. Connection, communication, get your stuff together. That's all I'm trying to say. We should play. I never have. What? I don't know what you talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But I don't even know what you're talking about. We should play. I don't even know what you're talking about. But honestly, that's all I'm trying to say. Once your mental is together and your spiritual is together, your physical gonna automatically pop into place. That's just how it go. Get your mind right, everything else will follow. That's just how it go. That is what this point of this week's conversation was about. It was about, like last week's conversation was about mental health. Like I said, every week I'm not going to always talk about sex. It's going to all lead up to sex because, like I said, if your mental is not right, your physical is not going to be right. This week I talked about toxic traits. How can you recognize your toxic traits? Like, what are signs to where you're toxic or your partner is toxic? And how do you go telling your partner, okay, I got an issue with this and you have an issue with that, and how do y'all fix it? Or do y'all even try to fix it, or do y'all just remain toxic and just carry on with each other and just cut up and just do whatever? You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like I have to have a conversation not solely based on sex, because it's levels to sex. I have to repeat myself because people keep coming and going and I don't know who everybody is. But I just want y'all to understand why every week is not going to always be about sex. Because like I said, it's levels to sex. And the first level is mental. You have to have your mental right in order to get your physical together. That's all I'm saying. Mental, spiritual, get them two together. Physical going to automatically line up. It's going to get in line. I'm not lying. I have not lied to you people yet. This whole time I've been doing this stuff, I've been trying to keep it a buck. Well, I have been keeping it a buck. I haven't lied about anything yet. But I just want y'all to understand why it's important to have mental health is important. That's what I want y'all to understand why, especially when you want to have great sex. Because to have an orgasm or to have orgasmic sex, you have to have a clear mind. And you have to have your mind right and your mind together in order to be able to focus on your partner or focus on your feeling or your environment or whatever. That's going to bring it all together. So when you bust, it's going to be like an explosion. And then you're going to pass out right after. Because you had your mind right. Because you listened to Kiki D and went and got some help from that psychiatrist or whatever, family counselor or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's how it works in communication. But how will you know how to communicate if you never was taught to communicate or the proper way to communicate? That's why you got to find out what the toxic traits are, and you have to find out what the issues are with you or with your partner, what issues your partner might have with you, and try to figure them out. And if y'all can't figure them out together, maybe separate, get yourselves together separately, and try to come back together as mended, healed people. Don't stick in a toxic relationship and be comfortable in a toxic relationship and be so used to it that you just like, well, whatever. We'll figure it out. Like, no. Same thing with, like, it's just not okay. You leave, fix it, or leave, fix it together, separate and fix it, and come back together, or just separate and fix it and don't come back together. But at the end of the day, fix it, because it's not about, at that point, it wouldn't be about your partner. It would be about you. You will have to fix it for yourself to make sure that you got yourself together. Because if your partner refuses to fix it, it's fine. You got to worry about yourself at the end of the day. Because when they make caskets, they only make one. And they ain't got bunk beds or whatever. Ain't that what the people say? So you have to worry about yourself at the end of the day. If you know you have toxic traits or you have issues with yourself, fix your issues and then double back. Don't stick it out with a person and hope that they figure out what their issues are or whatever. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of energy. And you don't get time back. You can't go and buy some of that. You really don't. Once it's gone, it's gone. So that's why you need to figure out what your toxic traits are and what the signs are, and when to leave, when to try to fix it, when to stay, when you know it's just done. Mental health. That's the first thing. If you have your mental together, you will already be able to identify your toxic traits, because you understand them, and you understand when they about to come out or when somebody triggering you. Mental health. That's from talking to somebody, letting them analyze your situation and help you fix it, and teaching you coping mechanism and coping skills and all of that. That's why, like I said, sex is more than just a physical thing. It's definitely mental. It's definitely spiritual. It's definitely emotional. People out here having sex just to catch bodies and bust a nut. But sex is not meant to bust nuts. It's not. It's not at all. So, just saying, it's your girl Kiki D with Hickeys and Hennessy, the podcast. I come here every Wednesday on Facebook, but I'm about to try to change from Facebook because they blocked me on all of my pages. They kicked me out of all my groups. I had to make a backup page. I'm probably going to be on Instagram sooner than later, so y'all probably should start following me on Instagram. It's Hickeys_Hennessy. Look for the lips. That's what I tell everybody, because Facebook really don't like me, and they blocked me from all of my pages, and they blocked me from all of my groups. So I'm gonna probably be heading over to Instagram. I don't know what I did to them, but apparently I don't know. But just follow me on Instagram, Hickeys_Hennessy. Follow me on Twitter, Hickeys_Hennessy. Follow me all over the social medias. I'm on all of them. I try to engage as much as I can, but you know, I try to. But follow me over there, because I don't know when they're going to block this page next. All of my other pages is blocked. My groups, I can't post in them. All of that stuff, okay? All my other pages is gone. That's my last thing. I don't know when they're going to come for this page, so follow me on Instagram. I have YouTube. It's Hickeys and Hennessy. All you have to do is look for my logo. You'll find, as soon as you find the lips, you'll find me. I have Instagram. I have YouTube. I have all of the social media platforms. I'm on all of them joints. Twitter, Snapchat, Hickeys_Hennessy. Look for the lips and follow me over there, because Facebook, I don't know when they're going to shut me down, but they have already started shutting me down on all my pages. I cannot post. So, unfortunately. But I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in this week. I will be back next week for another topic. I don't know what it will be about, but make sure y'all pull up on Wednesday and come and talk to your girl. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's your girl Kiki D with Hickeys and Hennessy, the podcast. Thanks for joining me. Bye.